Hotel Echo Lima Lima Oscar. It's good evening from London, England, from your host, your guy himself, the one and only and truly DLG repping, otherwise short for Dele London Guna, Space, Romeo Echo Papa Papa Indigo November, and it's another Premier League match review of all the goals from all 10 fixtures, and some talking points to get through if I can remember what was said, and some key factors as well. My word, there's a lot to get through, but I'll do it. Anyway, before I get into the fixtures itself, just remember to always smash the thumbs up like button for me in abundance. Can you do that for me? Show me the love, show me the appreciation, yeah? Make sure you share this channel, yeah? Press the share button when this video is done, yeah? And share it amongst your friends. Well, share it virally all over the globe amongst your friends and your relatives. And if you're watching me for the first time, whomever you may be, but whatever race you are, gender, culture, religion, etc., all people from a westernized point of view are welcome to watch my channel, yeah? So share this channel amongst your friends and your relatives. And do me a favor, share this channel amongst their friends and relatives, and tell them to share it amongst their friends and relatives. That makes sense. On top of that, yeah, if you want to get into the chat and talk about your team's game away from home or at home, and you want to talk about the performance, good or poor, leave it in the chat, yeah, where positive feedback belongs, yeah. And on top of that, yeah, smash the subscribe button for me, yeah, left, right, and center. Make sure you subscribe to this channel in abundance, yeah. So remember, when you do subscribe, I'll shout you out, yeah. And the aim is to go for 1,000 subscribers. So with love from the heart, get subscribing to the channel, yeah. And let's do this. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, beginning of the new year. Otherwise, welcome to another Premier League roundup of all the goals from all the goals from all 10 fixtures. If I can get my words straight. Other than that, let's kick off with the first game of the 8 fixtures, and it's an early one, 12:30 lunchtime kickoff. Man City versus Brentford. Now, this was a case of David and Goliath, and you have to say first 6 minutes, Brentford were on the front foot, and within 20 minutes they were 1-0 up in the 16th minute. Good link-up play by Mbemo, I think, got the header on and from a set piece, and before you know it, Ivan Toney just about got on the end of it, even though the defender got there before him, but he headed it onto Ivan Toney's head, looped above the outstretched hand of Ederson into the back of the net, 1-0, and they were valued for their lead. After that, you could see how well they were organised, the distances within the defence. You know, you could see the distances in a defensive lineup. You could see how disciplined they are, and they didn't give much away in terms of opportunities. And Brentford, even before the goal, they had an opportunity on a counter-attack. Oyinka forcing a good save from Ederson. And Ivan Toney, well, on another day, he could have had 2 goals in the first half. Cross comes in from Rico Henry, who had a blinding game down the left-hand side of the defence. He puts a cross in from an offensive point of view. Ederson flaps at it. Cross comes back. Empty net. Obviously, Tony's gone for the side foot, which he should do, which is understandable. But I think it was well saved by Ederson, I believe. Man City, they did control the ball in the bulk of the first half. They had the ball in possession, and then, well, at the dying death of the first half, they got the equaliser. Maybe some will say against one of play, but I don't think it was against one of play because they were pushing for an equaliser. And Phil Foden, one of England's best players right now, with a fabulous first-time strike, left-hand side of the field, just within the penalty area, and he hit it first time, leaving David Raya with no chance. 1-1. Second half, Brentford did what they did in the first half. They left no gaps whatsoever. They left no gaps in their defence. They defended extremely well. Haaland couldn't barely get into the game or kick. And every time the ball was aimed for Haaland, you had about maybe three Brentford players around him to stop him from getting an opportunity. And he was well marshalled. And the defence, well, that pays tribute to Brentford's defence, how disciplined they were, organised, and they defended extremely well, and counter-attacked superbly well as well. And with 10 minutes of stoppage time, Brentford still stuck to their guns. Man City were piling on the pressure, and in the end, in the 97th minute, they got their reward, a counter-attack involving three Brentford players versus one Man City player. And before you know it, I think it was Wissa who stormed up the pitch with pace, laid it off to, I think, Da Silva. Da Silva finds Tony, tap in, 2-1. And 2-1 could have become 3-1 quickly, where Man City were found defending another counter-attack, but they escaped without allowing Tony to get his hat-trick. And it was a good goal line clearance from De Bruyne. But for De Bruyne, it would have been a 2-goal win. And I'll tell you what, as an Arsenal man, I can't remember the last time we won at the Etihad, or I can. It was several years ago, I believe. It was a 2-0 victory. Anyway, those were good days. That was a good day out if you're an Arsenal fan in the away end. Anyway, enough of that. That was back then. And you have to give Thomas Frank and the Brentford players immense amount of credit for their performance, the way they defended. They defended outstandingly, brilliantly. They were just organised, well drilled, and you can see the organisation, and you can see the time and effort they must have put in training to produce that sort of performance at the Etihad against a team who has not lost at the Etihad since February. What a result! What a performance! So it finished Manchester City 1, Brentford 2. Next game, I'm going to talk about Bournemouth v Everton. Well, for Bournemouth, fantastic offensive display, created opportunities, and it was no surprise that they went 1-0 up. Tavernier with the first goal. Everton didn't really get into the game. I think they were just poor overall, first and second half, and you could see they were all over the shop. And the second goal summed them up. Even though they may be an argument for a foul on the defender, the referee didn't deem it as a head injury, so he decided to allow play to continue. A shot that was well saved by Pickford, but as the attacking player headed it across goal, Kiefer Moore, who's been banging in a couple of goals recently, gets on the end of a header, clashed with the Everton defender, 2-0. And in the second half, well, you could see who was on the front foot and who was more likely to score, and it wasn't the Toffees. Everton just didn't have any composure in the game whatsoever, and 2-0 became 3-0. A glorious moment for Anthony, who's come from the youth academy. And I think Bournemouth had another goal, but it was rightfully ruled out for offside. So it finished Bournemouth 3, Everton 0. Next game, Liverpool v Southampton. Now, this is Southampton's first league game since the sacking of Ralph Hasenhüttl, and with Liverpool on the recovery, they just got onto the front foot immediately, and yeah, they took the lead. I think through Mo Salah. Good little finish there. But to Southampton's credit, yeah, they never had their heads down. You could see they were more organised at the back, a lot more intensity about them, and you could see they got back into the game for a set piece and well taken goal by Che Adams. However, in the second half, Liverpool began on the front foot, dictating play as you can imagine, and Darwin Núñez on the score sheet um, with a fine taken goal, and then the second goal, well, sublime good bit of football by Liverpool and Darwin Núñez with a neat finish. Southampton didn't have any answers after that, and I think they may have carved that one opportunity for them, but it wasn't to be. So the new manager has got obviously a lot of work to do to improve the team, whereas Liverpool are just on the recovery. So it finished Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. Next game, Nottingham Forest v Crystal Palace. Vieira's Crystal Palace away from home, they have always been a very difficult side to contain. And earlier on in that game, they got a penalty awarded to them. Unfortunately, for Wilfred Zaha, he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, but he hits the post, the outside of the post, and it goes off for a goal kick. Nottingham Forest did contribute. Morgan Gibbs White, especially, always looking a threat. And Awoniyi, always a handful for any centre halves in the Premier League. However, Nottingham Forest had the ball in the back of the net, and it had to be double checked, and it took VAR more than a couple of minutes to confirm whether it was a goal or not. And it was confirmed as a goal, and Gibbs White gets the first goal of the game. I would assume Crystal Palace did push on for an equaliser. However, looking at the game, I feel that Nottingham Forest were just on the front foot, and they could have had another goal on the day. But I think the one goal was just enough, and they held on. So it finished Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. Fifth game on the list, Tottenham Hotspur v Leeds United. Excuse me, hiccups. What a game this was. End-to-end football. Both teams playing a good attacking brand of football. And it was a great watch from a neutral point of view, for sure. Where Leeds got their noses in front, good bit of build-up, and Crescencio, what a brilliant player he's becoming. What a talent he is definitely becoming. Gets on the score sheet yet again. The man who got the winning goal at Anfield, he's on the score sheet again. However, as Leeds found out, they know they have to defend with a lot more discipline and organisation at the back. And there's got to be a lot more work done at the training ground, because the defending from a set piece led to the equaliser. Although it should have been disallowed because there was a foul on the goalkeeper. Harry Kane receives the ball, good bit of skill there, and he thumps it into the top right hand corner. And for me, it should have been ruled out for me. But nevertheless, it was 1-0. If you look at the balance of play, Tottenham looked like they were in control. But for me, Leeds showed great character and personality, and they got back in front again for Rodrigo with a fine volley past Hugo Lloris, 2-1. Tottenham got the equaliser again. in the second half. They came out on the front foot, and for me, Harry Kane has a shot, well saved by the goalkeeper, but Ben Davies, he drills it first time, squirms under the body of Minier and into the back of the net, trickling over the line by 4 foot, 2-2. But Leeds did not show any signs of dying down, and to their credit, they defended pretty well enough to the point where they got themselves a counter attack, and a counter attack they did get. And what a fine finish by I think Rodrigo again to make it 3-2 Leeds. But again, Tottenham, if they're attacking prowess, they were always a threat, and an unlikely source in Bentica getting an equaliser through a good bit of football, and then and that's through Kulusevski having a massive impact. And then speaking of Kulusevski, he has another massive impact. Poor tackling by a Leeds United centre half, and Kulusevski gets the outside of him too easily, cuts it back, Bentica the winning goal. And for me, the situation was dampened even deeper for Leeds United as Tyler Adams receives a second yellow card. And as Jesse March has said, we had the lead. We had the lead, and he didn't feel that we were going to throw it away. But there you go. So it finished Tottenham Hotspur 4, Leeds United 3. What a game! West Ham United v Leicester City. West Ham not particularly at the races, and for Leicester City, they started off on the front foot. They always looked a threat on a counter, and it was no surprise that they got the noses in front. Leicester City's best number 10 and possibly England's best number 10, James Maddison, with a nice finish at top bins, giving Fabianski no chance. And then Leicester again were on the front foot on the counter attack, got a penalty for a poor challenge on Daka from Dawson. However, Yuri Tillemans took the penalty, and it was well saved by Fabianski. Very good save. Second half, West Ham came out the traps a little bit and showed signs of getting back into the game, especially with Declan Rice running through midfield like a Rolls Royce. However, West Ham were not to be denied, and in that second half, in that first half, Ward pulled off a terrific save from a looping header, I believe, which looked like it hit the bar, but the goalkeeper got a fine hand on it. And in the second half, Leicester got the winning goal. Harvey Barnes on the score sheet yet again, so that's 2-2 for him, showing a bit of form there. So it finished West Ham United 0, Leicester City 2. Next game, Newcastle v Chelsea. Newcastle they're playing sublime good football and performing well off the ball, showing Chelsea no room for manoeuvre, and they took advantage of Chelsea's lack of confidence, as you can see, and they created a couple of good opportunities, and in the second half, you could see that Newcastle were more likely to score because they were on the front foot. And what a fine finish by Joe Willock, ex-Arsenal man. And for me, they deserve to have the lead. Chelsea did push on for an equaliser, and even in the first half, they had a couple of good opportunities to get their noses in front, but wasteful in front of goal. And again, in the second half, you have to say from their part, wasteful again. And I don't know who was it that wasted the opportunity, but it wasn't good enough. Newcastle, with Almiron having a volley in the first half wide. All in all, I think Newcastle contributed a lot and got the win they deserve. So it finished Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 0. Next game, Wolverhampton Wanderers v Arsenal. I have to say, first half, Wolverhampton Wanderers, they took the game to Arsenal, created openings, Unlucky not to get a penalty through Saliba racing up to Guedes and clipping him clumsily. Lucky VAR never wanted to have a look at that. So play went on. And then Saliba with Saliba with a stupid error, playing a blind pass, not looking where his danger is, and Guedes receives the ball and launches onto it. And luckily, the ball was deflected wide. However, Jesus has Arsenal's two best chances. Before that, he had a goal disallowed, rightfully so, with an in-swinging cross by Martinelli. He controls it, hits it first time. Fine finish, but he was offside. Then the other opportunity he has is where he should possibly look at doing better by putting it bottom left-hand corner as he cuts inside. And then the second chance, well, he would know whether he should do better. However, in the second half, Arsenal gained more dominance and control with the ball, and before you know it, they got their noses in front. Good bit of play on the left-hand side. Jesus cutting inside, putting Fabio Vieira through. He takes his first touch, which was poor, but he done well to dink the ball across the goalkeeper, and Martin Odegaard with a tap in. Second goal, again, good work by Martinelli. Back heels it back to Zinchenko. He pushes forward in acres of space, cuts the ball back. Attempted tapping was blocked. Martinelli's shot blocked, but Odegaard controls the ball first time, rivals it bottom right-hand corner, 2-0 Arsenal. Other than that, Ramsdale only had a save to make. It was through a Zinchenko mistake. They hit us on the counter from that mistake, and Ramsdale pulled off a fairly expected decent save. But nevertheless, Arsenal were not really troubled in that second half and held on for a reasonable, comfortable victory, which finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Arsenal 2, which leaves Arsenal top of the league for Christmas. Happy days for me. Next game, the next game is on Sunday. I'm going to do the last two games. Brighton over Albion v Aston Villa. Now, Brighton over Albion got off to a superb start in the first opening minute, but for me, the goal should have been disallowed. As you could see, if you were watching Match of the Day, you see the replay shows that Douglas Luiz was first at the ball. He was fouled by McAllister, but take nothing away from McAllister. Good finish in front of goal in the first minute. Brighton had their noses in front, but to Aston Villa's credit, and in Emery, they knocked on the door. They were pushing for the equaliser, and they got rewarded with a penalty, which was a Stonewall penalty. Ball put through, and Lewis Dunk sliding in and getting the man, not the ball. And Danny Ings just about done well to put the penalty in the middle of the net. And to Robert Sanchez's credit, he got a hand to it, but not a firm amount of strength to keep it out. So 1-1 it was. And I think Aston Villa were the team on the ascendancy, trying to get the lead and on the front foot in that first half, where Brighton weren't really at the races. In the second half, Aston Villa showed more intent on the front foot than Brighton. And it's no surprise that Danny Ings got not just his 100th league goal, he got his 101st league goal. I think it was for a mistake, someone losing the ball in the midfield, McAllister being dispossessed, and by Douglas Luiz or whoever it was, found Danny Ings, cuts inside, then cuts to the outside again, and then unleashes a shot deflected into the back of the net. And at the death, you have to look at Lewis Corwell, the youth academy graduate centre half. Cross comes in, fine cross. Corwell was in acres of space, free header, and he's ballooned it over the bar. He's really bolstered it up. Aston Villa, Martinez had to make a couple of saves in that first half. And all in all, yeah, Villa were just worthy of their win. So it finished Aston Villa. So Brighton over Albion 1, Aston Villa 2. Next game, Fulham v Manchester United. Looking at the balance of play, Manchester United were sharper and quicker with the ball, and it was no surprise that they created a couple of opportunities before they got their noses in front, and got their noses in front. They did. The goal scorer, Christian Eriksen, good bit of team play, and the goal was well worked. Fulham were their noses. Fulham were trailing and on the back foot. However, they did respond pretty quickly with opportunities of their own. Tim Ream at times poor positioning at the time at the back, and then you have United taking advantage of that. However, in the second half, Fulham battled a lot better than they did in the first half, and created opportunities to get goals, but they found David De Gea in fine form, and opportunities as well they had in the first half. David De Gea was in splendid form, making 3-4 very good saves, but there was nothing he could do about the equaliser as Bruno Fernandes kept the ball in play, but didn't react quick enough to stop the pass going to Willian. Williams received the pass, puts Fulham on the counter attack. He lays it off on the outside. Low cross comes in, and a tapping for Dan James, who came on as a substitute to score against his old employees. However, at the death, before the death, Garnacho comes on and adds a spark, and he brings something different. But at the death, he plays a 1-2 and receives it with X amount of pace generated, and side foots it past the outstretched hand of Bird Leno into the far post. Fine finish, and basically the last kick of the game, which finished Fulham 1, Man United 2. So I think this is my last Premier League roundup until the end of December. Well, my last roundup until the World Cup is finished on the 18th of December. And once again, it has been a marvellous pleasure to do my roundups all throughout this season so far. So, ladies, to the gentlemen, to the boys, to the girls, it's a massive pleasure to say thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and saving the best to last. Thank you so much for putting up with me, as you always have done, and that's from the heart. Otherwise, do watch out for my live streams of the World Cup, and my first game is Qatar versus Ecuador. That's a 4:00 kickoff, so I'll be on there by 3:00 for the coverage and the opening ceremony. I'll be talking you through that as well, yeah. So watch out for that, and the game itself. Definitely be talking to you guys through the game. Otherwise, make sure you look after your friends. Do make sure you look after your families. Make sure you look after yourselves, which is always important. Peace, love, and bless again. As I always say, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you do all of that for me. DLG repping from the heart. We're going to chat again. Definitely going to chat again. And always just remember, please be nice.